So I'm Father David Esquiliano. I was born in southeast Mexico, a town called Chetumal, which is on the border with Belize. I'm the rector of the Cathedral Church. I'm also the pastor of the Cathedral Parish. So parish is a group of people, usually around a church, but we have different ethnicities. We have masses in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Latin. I started my assignment in July of 2019. I was coming back from Rome, where I was finishing a degree in church law. And it was just learning the parish. Every time you get a new assignment, a new parish, it takes at least a year to learn what's going on, to get to know the parish. So it was mid-March. That's when we started hearing about it more, because that was, I think, the first cases coming to the States. And I go every other month to meet with a priest in northern Missouri, Conception Abbey. He's a monk, and he's my spiritual director. He's kind of like a counselor or advisor I see every other month. And on the way there were already rumors about, or more than rumors, we're getting information from our diocese, just this is coming up, just so you're aware, this is happening. But I do remember, because it was right before St. Patrick's. So I was driving back from Conception, I think it was a Friday. And right before I left, I emailed my staff here. And it's a very small staff, and just asking for their input and just saying, okay, we need to be prepared. We may need to cancel classes for a little bit. So how we're gonna handle that? And that was just because of the communications we had received. The idea of canceling masses wasn't even like coming to my mind, just canceling classes. A couple of my staff members replied right away like, oh, no, this will never happen. We've been through that before. It will just be getting hand sanitizers and that's it. That's as bad as it's gonna be. Yeah. Like, well, we don't know. So by the time I made it to town, and that's a 4-hour long drive, we had already received notice that everything was canceled. There's nothing more important than the Mass for us. Our documents, our church documents say that that's the source and summit of our lives. So the idea of canceling Masses would have never crossed my mind. In our case, we in our house, which is just across the street next to the cathedral, we have a private chapel, which we use for prayer. We have 4 priests living in the house, so we gather every morning for prayer. So we were doing our masses there, but with nobody else. It was more shocking when we had masses at the cathedral, because then Easter came up. That was during Lent, so Easter came up. That was shocking. Having a mass in the cathedral where with nobody there. Our mass is a dialogue. It has a dialogue part. And there are parts where you would say, the Lord be with you, and there is nobody to reply. Everything was different. Eventually we started recording using a cell phone, or streaming using a cell phone. But even that, just looking at a cell phone, we were created for community. Just today at Mass, the reading is the creation of Eve, and the line is, man was not meant to be alone. And suddenly we are all isolated. We asked people, show us that you are participating. And they started taking pictures of themselves watching us at Mass. So I received pictures of families around their TV with us on TV because they were watching Mass, or a small computer or a cell phone. And at least there was that virtual connection, but it wasn't the same.
Support for Facing a Changed World, an oral history of the COVID-19 pandemic, comes from the Margaret Ann Martin Everest Foundation, the Kind World Foundation, Humanities Iowa, the Friends of Siouxland Public Media, and listeners like you.